Hello, I'm Vara,
Hi, Bada. I'm Roxy.
and you're listening to VCR. Hey, Roxy, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good. I am also good. We have an interesting show today, at least I think it is. And then also before we go on to talk about what our exciting show is today, next week we celebrate a pretty huge milestone, especially in the world of podcasts. We celebrate 200 episodes. That this is this is 199. Next week is going to be 200. Can you believe that?
Wow, 200.
I know.
200 episodes of your bullshit.
Exactly. And yours too. Not exactly 200
Yeah,
episodes of
200
your
episodes of you
bullshit.
putting up with me.
But like you got a good 100 plus episodes of
All right,
bullshit
like say like
going.
150,
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
just something like that. Just enough, It's not just my bullshit,
that.
But it is a huge milestone for us, so we'll be having a little special show about that. Not, we're just gonna be talking about 200 and then a few other little things, and it'll be very exciting. And then me and Roxy at some point will go out and celebrate by having dinner and enjoying ourselves, and that will
Yee.
be awesome sauces, and that will be so much fun. But yes, I'm very excited for 200. It's just like the cheaper version of the movie 300, but
It's the wish version.
100 less than, and not as entertaining. But anyway, but moving on, today's show, seeing that we're talking about the movie 300, is a movie show today. So we are
Yeah.
we are jumping into what I thought was a pretty good movie. I know Roxy may have a little bit difference of opinion, but I really enjoyed it just because it kept messing with me as to what was actually happening. Um, but the movie Knox Goes Away, great movie, I thought. It's a 2023, so it's not recent, but I was
Recent-ish.
recent-ish. It really was at my mom's house. It was on. I was like, oh my God, this is really good. I couldn't leave because I kept wanting to figure out exactly what he was doing, what his motives were, because none of it was making sense. It looked more like he was trying to frame someone instead of help someone. And I was
Yeah.
like, what is happening? And it was just great.
I was
Stars.
like, is he having an episode? What's going
Exactly, so we're gonna get into that in a minute, but it stars
on?
the GOAT, as far as I'm concerned, Michael Keaton,
Yes.
right up against another GOAT, Al Pacino.
I was shocked. I
Yes.
was like, is that Al Pacino?
Al Pacino was in it, and it was so good. And then you got other people in it, but so you have
The heavy hitters.
but you have Michael Keaton and Al Pacino, and the beauty about this is Michael Keaton directed this movie. I did not know
Hmm.
until I was doing a little
Yeah,
research.
I saw that at the ending credits.
I was like, directed by Michael Keaton and starring Michael Keaton. I was like,
Wow.
absolutely brilliant. Way to go. Truly loved it. It was just magnificent. So let's jump into it. Should we kind of find out how you feel about it first, and then, or should we just jump into little plots here and there?
I liked it. I thought it was good. It was definitely a slow burn.
Hmm.
It took a while. Like I was like, man, this movie is slow, but it was good though. Even for it being a slow burn, I really did enjoy it. It was a good movie.
See, I didn't feel it was a slow burn. I felt like the pacing was good because it was like, oh my God, what's gonna happen now? And then like at the moments where you're like, maybe this could be a slow burn, you're sucked back in by the fact that he's doing something weird that's like, is he having an
Right.
episode? What is he confused in his mind? Like what's happening? So it just keeps reeling you back in. I was like, oh my God, this is so good. But let's kind of jump into plot really quick. So you have uh The name of the movie, of course, is Knox Goes Away. Michael Keaton, Al Pacino. Michael Keaton plays a hitman, right? And he has a
Hmm.
partner. But here's the issue for poor Keaton's character. The character is Knox,
John Knox.
John Knox. And so what ends up happening is that he discovers he has this rapid form of dementia
Hmm.
that's progressing extremely fast. So he goes to a neurologist. You kind of get this like, oh, you have an extremely rapid form of this particular type of dementia. Pretty soon, and like he asks, how long does he have? He's like, not even months. He probably got weeks.
Isn't it like, I'm trying to pronounce it.
It's a very
Creutzfeldt Jacob disease or something like that?
yeah, something like that. It's very hard to like, but
Yeah,
for
that
all
first one, I was
practical,
like, huh? I can't pronounce it. But
yeah,
I think it's like Creutzfeldt.
for the sake of the show, we're just gonna call it rapid
CG.
dementia.
Yeah, it was like, I forgot what it was like, CJD or something like that in that
Some
book.
something like that. And it was so he has this disease and it's erasing his memory and he's getting confused
Quickly, too.
very quickly. So the fucked up thing about it is he's a hitman. So he goes into this job with his friend and it gets fucked up because he has an episode and he shoots his friend.
Oh my God, that part, I was just like, oh my God. Like I
Yeah.
knew it was coming, but I was hoping it wasn't.
And then he ends up he wipes out the others and wipes out his friend, and then it kind of goes from there, and it's just progressing. Now, here's where everything gets really interesting. Um, he has a son who he's estranged with. And
Hmm.
then he hadn't seen him. I think he had said in the movie he hadn't seen him in like 9 years or something like
Something
that.
like that. Yeah.
And so you're just assuming it's just kind of a little background. And then it ends up that the son shows up on his doorstep one day, and because he's having these episodes, he didn't know who his son was. His son had
Oh
to
yeah.
explain who
That
he
was crazy.
was. And the son was just in a horrible panic because now there's going to be spoilers. There's going to be spoilers. You can't do this kind of show
Yes.
without a spoiler. What happens is the son runs to him because the son just killed somebody in anger. The son's not a hitman or anything like
Mm-mm.
that. He has a family, but he stabbed this man in the neck 17 times. And
Yeah. And
but
then just
the
left him.
yeah, it, like really fucked him up. But the reason for it is because this man, he was like in his 30s, I think they said.
I think like
And
32.
yeah, and then he had baited online um his daughter who was like 16
Hmm.
and then got her pregnant only to find out that the guy's a white supremacist and he makes kiddie porn and that so when the dad went over there to confront him, he was talking shit about the daughter, so he lost
Saying
it.
disgusting things about her.
Yeah, and he
Oh.
lost it and he stabbed him in the neck 17 times. And then that's where, Michael Keaton comes in. He goes there and he's going to save his son, but it gets really confusing as to what he's doing for his son because he's having these episodes. Like when he goes
Yeah.
to try to delete footage, he has an episode where he's like, his mind skitzes out on him.
I thought he was gonna fuck up on that part. I was like,
Yes.
oh shit, he's gonna forget what he's doing. He's gonna forget something.
Hmm.
I was like, oh my gosh.
And then he starts doing this other stuff that didn't make sense, like the baster, where he's taking blood using a turkey baster, and then
Mhm.
other things that just were not like
It
none
was
of this
weird.
makes sense. It almost seems like he's framing his son. And in a way he does. He kind of does. But it was absolutely brilliant. So he keeps calling his friend Al Pacino. I forget the character's name, but he's calling Al Pacino to keep him straight because if anything goes wrong with his plan, it all goes to
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, it all goes to shit.
So they all have to get it right. And even Al Pacino plays a part in this. And it was like so good. And they have like this little red herring, another little story in there. The Russian hooker
Oh yeah.
that he sees every Thursday for like how many years? Like
Yeah. Like eight
so
years or something like that.
something like that. And so she becomes part of the story, and you think she's going to be a more compassionate part of the story.
I knew she
And
wasn't.
that was like, wow. But that ass whooping that he gave them all,
Oh man, that was crazy.
even while he was on a fucking episode, oh my God.
Can we talk about how scary those episodes seem?
Oh yeah.
Man, that was terrifying. I was just
Hmm.
like, oh my God, I can't imagine having like being in the middle of doing something and then you just blank out and you
Yeah.
just don't remember shit. You don't remember where you are, you don't remember what you're doing, you don't know anything.
Hmm. And that was the one that was done so well is this scene where Michael Keaton's character, John Knox, is out in the woods and
I
he's
was
going
gonna
to
say
a
the woods.
cabin, and then he gets what he needs from the cabin, which has been sold to other people, but he gets it. But then he's trying to go to his car, and an episode happens, and he gets scared and he gets lost and confused. So then he's wandering the woods, not knowing where he's at until some
Mhm.
stranger found him. And then they call, Al Pacino, this character. But like that was a truly scary scene.
And like
Like,
how Al Pacino had to tell him, like, hey,
mhm,
take the password off your phone.
yeah.
Take it off because you're gonna forget and you're gonna need to be able to get in and call somebody.
Hmm. And you
And he
need
had
to
to
be.
remind him a few times to take that off.
Hmm. And then when he goes to get him, and he's like, "No, no, I can drive," but you can tell he's scared and getting defensive.
Yeah.
That was, it was so well done, and you can tell it was well done because, and I think part of the reason I love this movie so much is because, like, so, when I was younger, it really the whole thing hit home to me really closely because I had my great grandparents, and from the age of 13 until they passed away when I was like 17, I took care of them every day, and they both had developed Alzheimer's, which
Mm,
isn't that far off from dementia. So
right.
the thing is, at some point, it just got too much for a 13-year-old to handle, and then a 17-year-old to handle. I didn't have much of a teenage life because I was taking care of them. I'd go to school and every day go home and take care of them. And they would forget. I mean, they would just forget because they have Alzheimer's, right? So their
Right.
memories are getting confused and going away. And it hit home because a lot of the things that he was doing reminded me of like what my great grandfather was doing and what my great grandmother was doing. And I was like, that was so well done because I can attest to the fact that, yeah, these things happened because, like, the way that they did it happened, like the anger fits or the being scared because you don't know who's who type of thing. And
Yeah.
you're freaking out and you're just in some other kind of memory. It was so well done. So hats off to Michael Keaton for even doing the research on that. And the fact that this is a totally different type of movie.
Yeah.
It's not like your average hitman type of movie, like let's bust in like we're at the Olympics and we're from Turkey and we're gonna get a silver medal kind of Olympics. Like, it's not
No,
like that.
no guards,
Just- You just
nothing,
show
no
up in a
scopes, no
t-shirt.
ear, nothing, no
Yeah.
protection. He just boop.
Yep, just show up in a t-shirt and win the silver. Uh, it's not like that kind of movie. This was really interesting because he is a hitman, but again, he is affected by this mental disease that makes him ineffective. But
Yeah.
I mean, the whoever came up with that storyline, I mean,
Kudos. Yeah.
total fucking
Bravo.
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 Fucking, that was brilliant. Like, who the hell comes up with something like that? Like, I've never seen a story like that. It
No.
was great, absolutely great and brilliant.
When I was trying to tell a friend of mine about the movie before I watched it, I was like kind of giving him the rundown that you gave me about
Hmm.
it. And he was like, so kind of like Born. And I was like, I don't think so,
Mm-mm.
but I'll tell you after I watch it. And then I watched it and I was like, yeah, it's definitely not like Born.
No, because
Not at
Bourne
all.
is like
It's
he,
different.
yeah, Bourne like
I was like,
his memory is gone for a little bit, but he recovers. This
right.
guy is like, his memory is erasing as
Yeah, like he's fading fast.
yeah, like as time goes by, he keeps forgetting, but he has to get this situation right because his son is on the line. One of the things I thought was interesting is that his son knew what he did for a living. And I was
And
like,
they found out. I think they said like him and his sister had found out like a few years prior,
mhm,
and that's when they cut all ties with him.
yeah. I was like, wow. But it was just so,
Yeah, because in most movies, the family never knows what they do.
yeah, it's all secret. You live this happy covert life, but they knew. And I was like, oh my God, this is just so
Hmm.
fucking next level in the way that they're doing this. And the fact that he was able to pull it off. Now, let's get into all the shit that did not make sense. Like there's things that were not making sense, like the way he was lifting fingerprints off the knife handle with regular tape, and then using like cinnamon to like do the outlines of the fucking fingerprints and
Yeah.
putting it onto something else and then squirting the blood onto the exact same shirt with the exact same patterns. And I was like, the fuck is happening here? Because it really looks like he's trying to frame his own son. And then there's this scene where he goes to the prison to visit his son because they do end up charging the son with murder.
Hmm.
And then he shows up and then he tells him, you know why you're in there? You know why this happened? Because I know you turned me in 6 years ago because he got arrested for tax evasion.
Yeah.
So that and the son's yelling, it wasn't me. It
I
wasn't
didn't
me.
do it. It wasn't me.
And then what happens is later on, all the stuff is at forensics. So forensics is like, yeah, about these fingerprints, they're not usable. They have some type of household spice. They
There's
look
like
like
adhesive.
yeah, it was like this is something that was planted on here, and like this whole coat, you can't tell me that this is the only fucking strand of hair, so that clearly had to have been planted. And then all the stuff starts making sense
Hmm.
that he's John Knox, Michael Keaton's character, is framing himself for what happens.
Hmm.
And then what happens is all the evidence is inadmissible and it points to John Knox character doing it, and it looks literally like John Knox is framing his son for the murder. So they
Hmm.
end up kicking the son loose and saying, "Well, your father clearly framed you, and what a horrible person he would. Any reason why he would frame you?" And uh that's where it comes clear the visit, why he does the visit.
Yeah.
It says, because of you, he's he's giving him the reason. And
Hmm.
so when it comes to them interviewing him about why would he do this, he's like, because I was the one who turned him in to the IRS and blah blah blah. And they're like, no, that was somebody else. Like, well, they
He's like,
were
no, it
wrong.
was
It was
me.
me.
Yeah, when they asked him, when the detective was asking him, like, why, like your dad, why would he do this to you? Why would he frame you? Like, why
Yeah.
does he hate you so much? I was like, oh, because when he told
Hmm.
him in the jail, like, you
Yep.
sold, like, he's telling you to tell them you sold him out.
Exactly. And
I was
so
like, it was a whole setup. Like, he wanted the cops to hear him say it, all
mhm,
that stuff.
it was brilliant. It was stuff I would not think of. And at first, like when I was like when he was in the prison telling him, because of you, you sent me, I know you ratted me out. I was like, damn, he really did fucking frame
I
his
did too.
son.
I was like, oh shit, he really did set him up.
Yeah, I was like,
Damn.
fuck, that this is so fucked up. They did this to his own son. And it ends up it was just the ruse so that he'll take the fucking blame. And then the best part of it is like Al Pacino's character calls him up and he's like, "Okay, so I'm gonna make the call. You sure everything's good?" It's like, "Yeah,
Tell him there's
but
3 bodies over here.
exactly." And then Al Pacino's like, "Are there three bodies?" Oh, he's like,
He's like,
"Yeah,
yes.
there are." Okay, then.
He's like, all right, I'll tell him.
So at the end, like the police come rushing in, they take but I think part of the beauty is that's not exact. I mean, it's pretty much the end, not exactly the end. You know, he's now in prison, and they're gonna
Oh,
move
the
him
end
to.
is so sad.
Oh my God, it really
So
was.
sad.
I almost cried. Well, I even called
Me too.
Roxy, and I told her, you need to watch this. This movie is the first movie to make me almost cry in a long time. Amari, you're gonna be crying in a minute. So, but it was so good. But the son goes to visit his dad, and he runs into the detective because the detective just wants to know that she's right about like because in her mind she's figured everything out, and she's asking him. So honestly, your friend, that was an accident. You killed him, right? But his mind is already gone at this point, and he's saying Muggsy likes to read the
Yeah,
papers.
like he thought that his friend was coming to see
Yeah,
him.
he's like, I need a paper because Muggsy likes to read the papers. And is it Sunday? And it's like, so she was never going to get her answer, but the tripped out thing is she was right, and all she wanted to
Hmm.
know, like every
Was that
woman,
she was right.
yeah, is that she was right. Like every woman on the planet. So yeah,
We always know we're right, just for the
yeah,
record.
but she'll never know. Although she was right.
She was.
And then she runs into the son and she's like, why do you even bother to see him? He framed you and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's still my dad, you know. And then he's over there talking to his dad and his mind is gone. And he's like, hey, dad. And he doesn't recognize him. It was so sad because he starts saying, is it Sunday? And he's like, no, it's Wednesday, Dad. And he's like, oh, okay. 'Cause Sunday, football comes on Sunday, and me and my son, we're gonna watch the Rose Bowl parade and the games. And
Hmm.
and then the son starts breaking down because he's clearly remembering his son and a moment with
Hmm.
his son. And it causes him to break down because even though his mind is being erased, he still thinks about his son, which was really, really awesome. And then the ending scene was so like gut-wrenching.
Oh, just him sitting there looking lost and confused.
Yeah, they moved him to the medical facility and he was just staring out the window, and I was like,
Hmm.
but he had this glazed, like perfectly glazed look, like someone who actually has dementia when they're
Hmm.
staring off in space. He has that look, and I was like, "Oh my God, that is just
So
so
sad.
so sad and so
Just
good."
heart-wrenching.
It was done so well that I
Hmm.
just could not,
Like he nailed it. He nailed that acting job. Like he did a
truly did.
great job.
The thing that kind of makes me mad, this movie did not win any awards, and it should have. It really should have, because not well, when I was looking on there, it didn't say that it had won anything, but it really should have. And if anything, they should go back and give him an award anyway, because
Right?
that was so well done. I could not. And at first, when I first heard about it, I was like, I wasn't into the idea because someone explained it the way I explained it to you. It's just about a guy who has dementia and he's a hitman. I was like,
Yeah, I was like, not that
like
doesn't
not
sound
not really feeling that
fun.
storyline. But then when I saw it, oh my God, that was great. So for me, huge recommendation. You got to go check it out. It is available on Max and a few other streaming services. You can rent it on Amazon Prime. It was just so good. You got to check it out. You just really do. Roxy, your thoughts and feelings.
It was amazing. I loved it. I actually recommended it to a couple of people at work today.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I thought it was good. It was chilling. It made me sad, and it was really good.
Yeah, it
I
was just
thoroughly enjoyed it. I might watch it again.
yeah, I would definitely watch it again. I would definitely watch it again. It was just so incredible and just so well done. Like I have to say, Michael T Keaton did a spectacular job in this movie, directing it and acting in it. It was just absolutely amazing and wonderful. So you definitely got to go check it out. I definitely two thumbs up for me. It was just an incredible moment. And let me tell you how good he was in that. Because growing up and taking care of my grandparents, so when my grandmother was getting closer to the end and she was in the hospital, like she wasn't remembering a whole lot,
Right.
but she was it was very sweet. She was remembering me for a moment because
Oh.
the kids are there and they brought her this baby doll because she kept saying how she wanted the baby and she wanted to hold the baby, but none of us had babies, so they didn't know what she was talking about. And then they brought her a doll, so she's holding the baby and she's like, "Okay, you need to be careful because you can't drop Christopher." So was
Oh.
talking about me, and I was just it was one of those moments. But the part where he was talking to his son about the Rose Bowl, dead on, just so
Yeah.
I was like, wow, absolutely spectacular. I just you could not have done a better job as far as I'm concerned. Um,
I don't know how long he had to study that to get all
oh,
of that down, but man, he really did a good job.
he did. It
Like,
is,
I thoroughly believed that he had dementia. Like it was
yeah.
really sad. It was scary. It made me think about me and my little Dory brain.
Mhm.
Like,
And it's one of those moments where, like, I'm convinced he had to have been related to somebody who has gone through that or through
right, right. To get it
dementia.
good down just like that, like, oof.
Yeah, because like that's not just studying it. That's like that was kind of personal, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
But Magnifique, it just reminded me so much of my grandparents, and it was just an amazing acting. Al Pacino, you never
It's Al
seen that
Pacino. I
man
mean,
do anything bad in his life.
it's Al Pacino.
Yeah, even when he's just being callous about like, do you have three bodies there? I was like, I was like, even that delivery was so fabulous, It was just great. So you got to go watch it. I'm gushing
Yes,
all over it.
yes.
Absolutely a fabulous fucking movie. So check it out.
Highly recommend.
Yeah, and I've been recommending it to everyone. It's just been so good. Uh, I'm gushing. I don't know what else to say other than it's
Yeah,
amazing.
I know. Like
Fucking go
you said
find it.
everything.
You're going to love it. If you don't love it, well, tough
Well,
shit.
you said
That you have no taste.
it.
That's all I can say. You just have like absolutely no taste in movies at all because that was
Oh,
fabulous at all. It was just great. So I highly recommend it. I may even pop some popcorn and rewatch it again sometime this weekend. While I'm not yelling at, having to buy a new car, because guess what? I have to buy a new car. So just to let the audience know, what kind of joys I'm going through in my life while doing this. So in probably about the next 10 minutes here, I'm gonna get off of, oh my God, it's so good. Uh Roxy, I know you loved it. Any particular, like, Michael Keaton's just fabulous. It's totally a Michael Keaton movie though,
oh, for
because it's
sure.
like the other actors, they're there, but it's Michael Keaton throughout the whole film. Like there's never a scene without Michael Keaton. So it's a
Hmm.
total Michael Keaton film. Al Pacino, you see him like a good 3 or 4 times throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And he's mostly just sitting there, and I get it. Al Pacino, if you don't know, is in his 80s. You know, he he can't get up and go like he used
Right, he
to.
can't get too active.
No, but at the end, that scene where it's Al Pacino, he's in the prison and his mind is going, and Al Pacino is there with his obviously younger wife,
Hmm.
and they're just dancing in this dance studio. It looks so beautiful, and I
It
forget
is.
Al Pacino is he's a really good dancer.
Yeah,
So I was like, it was so well done, and even Al Pacino looks pretty happy in that dance scene type of thing. Uh,
yeah.
but it was great. One of my favorite films. I'm definitely promoting it. I hope all of you out there definitely jump on board on that. And if you want, we may cut this a little short, because I think we're finished gushing. Are you finished gushing?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say anything more about how great that movie
And,
is.
and the
So.
truth is, normally, like every now and then, I try to find something bad to say. I could not.
The
I
only
I
thing bad I
could.
got is that it's kind of a slow burn.
Yeah.
Other than
Well,
that, that's all I got.
for you and for me, I was like, this is properly paced. I absolutely loved it. But maybe you feel something different when you watch it. Let us know. Who do you agree with? Roxy, like, is it a slow burn? Or do you agree with me? It's a good pace. Let us know. Also, if you want, send some of your comments for next week a little early about the 200th episode, because we'll use them on the show. We'll read them
Yeah,
out there. If
we
it's in a
will.
foreign language, it's okay. That's what Google translates for. We will figure it
Mhm.
out. We would
We'll
love
read them
to,
all. The
yeah,
good, the bad, the ugly.
we'd love to fucking translate your letter in Greek to us, explaining to us how like you've been trying to get a hold of us about our extended car warranty, and and of course, I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there, whether it's in Arabic or Greek, and be like, "Oh my God, is Roxy available? What do we pay you to marry her? What?"
No.
I was like, well, I do need a new car.
Uh-uh.
So
No.
settle up for the cost of a new Forerunner. I was
No. Dang, that's all?
like,
You
well,
suck. And
well, I mean, I don't want to be greedy.
I thought we were friends.
We are. I'm just
Obviously not.
trying not to be greedy about it.
You're the worst.
I try to be. I really do try. And Amara just will not stop today, will you? If you hear her, that's her. She's all excited about the 200th episode too. So what can you say?
Right.
But in the meantime, if you do want to submit your proposals to, like, trying to get Roxy to marry you, you can do so on our websites, which is going to be thevcrshow.com. You can hit us up on our socials at the VCR Show on Insta and the X. And you can also follow us on, whatever other platform we
On
got. We
all
got,
the platforms at
yeah,
the VCR show.
YouTube. At YouTube. We should probably go to a YouTube concert now that I said that. Check us out on our YouTube channel, which is the VCR Show. And to submit those proposals directly to Roxy, you can do that at her social medias, which are.
On Facebook at Roxy Perez Curvy Model. On Instagram at PopRocks428. I forgot for a second. And on TikTok at the PopRocks. And PopRocks is spelled Poproxx.
And as always, I'm Vada,
And I'm Roxy.
and you've been listening to VCR.
Bye.
Bye. Roxy would totally sell
Ah,
out for Forerunner too. I'm telling you, she would.
what?
I said Roxy would totally sell out for Forerunner too. I'm telling you.
I mean, I do need a new Forerunner.
There you go. Oh, and Amara wants to say bye
I wanted to
too.
say bye too.
Bye.
Bye.
You have been listening to VCR, creative content by Richard Christopher Vara and Roxy Perez. Logo by Richard Christopher Vara with assistance from Annie Ramirez. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach us at thevcrshow@gmail.com or our social medias at Instagram and Twitter at the VCR Show. And you can also check out our content at thevcrshow.com. The show's song is Addict by Nefex, instrumental, and you can find them on YouTube Music Library.